Hi everyone, this is Karak from ACG, and today I'm stoked to bring you the review of Skylanders Superchargers by Vicarious Visions and published by Activision. Superchargers is another in the long line of family to food stamps games. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Actually, that's Toys to Life games. These expensive titles forego the imagination when it comes to the lead characters by actually selling you the toys themselves. Then they make levels that feel like they're filtered through the brain of a child that's just snorted 2 pounds of smashed up Fruit Loops, glued 2 kaleidoscopes to their face, and are playing in a sandbox. However, all joking aside, the Skylanders titles have always actually offered a bevy of interactions and gameplay styles, and to many offer the more solid environments that parents desire versus, say, the Infinity games from Disney with their toolboxes and open world confusion that can set into some kids. But let's see if Superchargers adds more gameplay to the already stout offerings of its predecessors, trading gameplay for wallet weight, or if it goes the other way and in the end offers little in the terms of change-ups, leaving many fans wondering if Activision has scientists studying how best to screw over parents come Christmas time, like some evil research project. So here's the review for Skylanders Superchargers: Alice in Wonderland shrinking, chompy mage racetracks, LSD graphic stylings, and an almost supernatural ability to make parents yank out their wallets without hesitation. Graphics are up first. It's quite easy to see right from the start that Superchargers is easily the best looking of the Skylanders games, not only adding a complexity to the environments and texturing, but also keeping the frame rate at a far steadier clip that the prior titles could even wish for. And this is while adding in high-speed racing, explosions, and all manner of space and air flights. Whether jetting through underwater caverns, flying over war-torn lands, or churning up the earth like dirt butter, the world feels like it's filtered through the Pop-Tart-addled brain of an 8-year-old who stayed up too late. It's amazingly warped, with spatial changes and uniqueness becoming the norm. The first time you race on a track, it's almost impossible to keep your eyes on where you're going, as the trackside detail and fanciful wonder they throw at you is it's impossible to ignore. The on-land sections have massive draw distance and many times large movable sections, hidden locations, and a design that speaks to a far higher caliber expectation than most probably hold for a game of this kind. It's stupendous, with adventure moments on the back of dragons racing your car down the spine of a long-toothed Draconis awesomeness at full speed, only to then later be flying around in high Earth orbit taking out all manner of enemies' flying vessels. Then suddenly you're racing your boat across massive open world freshwater lakes, leaping out, taking on bad guys, and then leaping back in to travel somewhere else. It's massive, it runs well, and it looks amazing. The new characters and the vehicles appear a bit more detailed than the past offerings, but do it in a way that isn't noticeable to most gamers, and the vehicles change shape and ability with upgrades right in front of your eyes. All of this with a far less frame rate drop and latency than most would probably ever expect, and certainly once you've seen the difference between Trap Team and this, you're going to see a giant graphical upgrade. Simply wonderful graphics. Now, as always, the design of the characters, both good and bad, take the cake, but here, with the advent of vehicles, the designers could throw the development guide of the past titles out the window, and you have a playfulness and imagination in the character and level design that's heads above the past titles. Really, really good. Sound, music, and voice.
I'm coming! You don't have to gong it off the hook. You again? This isn't
Foolish lowlanders.
Lord Stratosphere.
Only chaos can preserve the Cloud Kingdom, and also grant me that lovely villa overlooking the valley.
Now, sound is always first in this trilogy of awesome, and Skylanders is and always has been saccharine for your ears. And when you realize that every character works in this game from past titles, and their specials soar with fire, crackle when ice is cast, and shake the world when Skylanders giants take offense at an enemy's proximity, and it also adds the stupendously overwrought Superchargers vehicles sounds to the spectrum, you're going to realize fairly quickly it's an amazing package, to say the least. The Superchargers sound like suitably cartoony dragsters, thunderously echoing through tunnels, down tornado spouts, and into massive coliseums. The amount of audio and its excellence and clarity here is really pretty amazing for a title like this. Special effects are hammered onto every vehicle and character depending on location, and whether you're exploring with your helicopter, submerging your submarine, or blasting across massive treetops in your motorcycle, it really never sounded so good. Excellent sound. Now, when we come to music, you know, Skylanders has almost always nailed it when it came to music, understanding how to keep the track sugary even when Chaos is melting comrades or ignoring the safety of his field workers as they get sucked into oblivion. Here's the thing, though. The game's soundtrack is big orchestra style with a love for string instruments and flashing crescendos as characters are meted out, but it would probably be too difficult to listen to as a soundtrack as it's really bombastic and in your face a bit. And you know, it's uniformly excellent, but I would really like to hear this separately to sort of identify, the excellent tracks that are there. And I think the fact is that many times the music in these games get missed because it is such a saccharine title. I really just think the music is excellent. Voice. Taking all of the titles into account, the voice in Skylanders has always nailed it. From your pack of expected and sometimes unexpected comrades to the amazing announcer that yells, "Fiery blue tires of destruction," or whatever it is when you modify your car in this game, the voices are excellent through and through. Strangely enough, the verbal cadence, though, on a great deal of the characters is changed here, and it's odd at first. For example, Persephone, that fairy that upgrades you, now sounds like some kind of soft-spoken Yoda with really odd verb and noun usage. A couple of the other characters did the same thing. The main characters seem to have escaped this issue, but for somebody who plays Trap Team quite often to jump to this title, it was really, really odd. Other than that little nitpick, I would say that the voice was really good. Gameplay. Chaos has a plan to take down Skylands again. This time it's a device that will suck out the sky or something. And as always, that's pretty much it. The Skylanders are mobile now, towing their once again in need of upgrading academy through the air as a giant airship. Think Hogwarts, but beat to hell, needing some love. The rest of the story is, well, you driving, flying, boating, slamming, blamming, boxing, headbutting, and smashing your way through Chaos's forces in UN-approved hit first, then make them love you later gameplay. Where Swap Force added the somewhat uncomfortable ability to tear your Skylanders in half and bubblegum glue them together with other Skylanders, mixing and matching like a childhood Frankenstein, Trap Team added the ability to use elemental totem systems, which allowed you to trap an absolutely amazing array of antagonists for tag team attacking. In Superchargers, the surprisingly robust and somewhat articulated vehicles add large swaths of new gameplay style and, surprisingly enough, don't alienate but elevate the title to a level of gameplay most, I think, would think impossible. While the vehicles are bound by their specific elements, they can be upgraded in various ways, giving them bonuses and abilities that change up the gameplay and the looks of the vehicles in very tangible ways. In a surprisingly generous offering from Activision, if you want to see every bit of the content in the game, you actually only need the starter kit and a couple extra vehicles, making this the cheapest full games come to life product from this company so far. And also, it goes a long ways in alleviating a large sales tax burden on possible purchases by parents this Christmas. Now, when I say cheap, I mean that it's simply in context to the other titles in these genres, not compared to a normal $60 entry. It's obvious that LEGO Dimensions, Disney Infinity, and Skylanders are titles in a different genre, and taking that into account, it's obvious we are seeing the fruits of competition bearing the seeds of extended gameplay for a cheaper buy-in for these titles, and I think that is awesome, and it helps out everybody. But where Skylanders excels is its discrete definition and display of different gameplay devices. There is this organic feel when finishing a vehicle section in a level and seeing your car slam on its brakes, spin sideways, and your Skylander gets out all fuzzy animal James Bond style. And they control, for the most part, fairly wonderfully, with the driving section switching seamlessly from a close third-person trail camera to a larger window in bigger arenas sections where you can take down bosses, perform jump puzzles, and deal out all manner of delicious destruction. They control wonderfully and require just a couple minutes of getting accustomed to on each. Additionally, depending on what parts of the level you decide to do, a level in Skylanders might be large if you just do one vehicle section, and any sections that are on foot, of course, to massive if you did all three vehicle sections and all the on-foot sections. And the on-foot sections are stupendous, with a sprawling and enjoyable design that's both easy to traverse, but absolutely riddled with secrets on top of secrets. And of course, it still has the traditional but now slightly altered Skystone game that adds more interesting and unique changes to the board game that were in the past titles. The on-foot sections and the new characters play with the extraordinary success, and that's where Skylanders destroys any of its currently released competition. Though I love Disney's Star Wars levels, the actual gameplay chops in Skylanders titles between the characters, vehicles, and levels themselves just feels far more solid as an offering. There is a maturity here in both level design and gameplay that does change the feel of the game just a little bit, however. It's moved the needle a tiny bit away from the gauntlet with hundreds of characters style of smash 'em up with Giants, Swap Force, and Trap Team, and turned it a bit more into an adventure game with the feel of, say, Spyro, Crash Bandicoot, or assorted other 3D adventure titles. Additionally, the UI has been vacuumed of a great deal of its fat, and though you're still fixing up an academy while doing so, it's easier to do the things like find races, which can be done via both the location at the academy, but also a menu in the UI, as well as buying skills, which allows you to do so, but doesn't eject you like an unseatbelted child from a roller coaster like the last title did. Little fixes like that help the fluidity of the content continue to be delivered without those odd breaks that the original titles had. That does bring me to a couple points that bother me a bit. Some of the mini-games have been removed and new ones added, and while doing so, that easy feeling of taking a character out and smashing the crap out of some enemies in various arenas isn't as prominent. Instead, you have races, absolutely mind-numbingly high number of races that somehow staunchly refuse to get old. The game has all kinds of boss chases, normal races, and others, and the tracks really just show an imagination that's easily equal to more popular cartoon kart and racing titles. Now, the nice thing, of course, you can still upgrade your characters, and every character from past games works perfectly here. There are a couple unique things that occur just with Supercharger characters, like the ability to Voltron up if you mix a specific new character with one of the newer vehicles, giving you a super amazing, awesome, tacular version of that vehicle when you mix them. But other than that, this will be the leanest, requiring, largest offering Skylanders to date, and by an absolutely staggering amount. So all in all, I would say the gameplay is just fantastic. Fun factor. You know, Skylanders Superchargers has done something that the prior titles haven't, and that has come very close to the design and playability as well as the graphical sheen of past classics. This is no Mario or Sonic, and it's missing that singular force of a particular mascot. But while playing Superchargers and engaging in high-speed races, higher speed chases, and smashing people with maces, it dawned on me that the fanciful and cartoony look of Skylanders was very close now in both familiarity and polish as generational mascot titles were. And I think that that's an amazing achievement, honestly. Though different, there's a little bit of Mario Kart in Superchargers, but then you have the flying aspects and the multi-gameplay styles of some of the later Sonic titles and Mario games, and even bits that feel like Crash Bandicoot. It's all mixed in there. And the fact that I'm even mentioning those games in context with a Toys Come to Life game is stunning to me, to say the least. And so too is the amount of fun. Skylanders has now matured not only into a full title, but into a sprawling, massive game of almost epic proportions, backed up by absolutely amazing fun gameplay and cool toys that go with it. So yeah, I get it, this review is long, but the game is as well, and you know I rate games on a buy, wait for sale, rent, or never talk about it again rating scale. This is a buy, not only because it's an amazing package, but you can also download the game and use an old portal from another game instead of buying the package itself. You would just need to basically pick and choose vehicles to buy, as all your old characters would work anyway. It's an insane value and an absolutely awesome game with few weaknesses, and instead builds on the strength of its family of titles prior. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to get some of my manliness back by playing some Doom or something. Nah, who am I kidding? I'll probably just do some more races. So anyway, that's it for me. I hope you liked the review. I hope you end up liking the game. If you do, look me up. We can play together online. That's it for me. If you like the review, hit like. If you dislike the review, hit dislike, and peace out.